Good morning. What are we gonna do today? I bet you can guess. Fall is just around the corner and I wanted to try some new fun ideas. And this is gonna be a fall project, but when we get going on it, you could turn it into any type of project you'd like. Let's get started. So what I'm gonna use, you could use a board, you could use anything you'd like. I have these heavy mailers, the 13 by 18. And it folds here. So I'm gonna use this to do my project on. And I'm using just, it's like a light orange paint, just a generic paint, and I am just gonna paint this up real quick. Okay, we're just gonna let this dry. So now I'm gonna do my letters and pumpkins for sale. I'm just using this fun script paper, and I'm gonna stamp these stamps onto here. All the letters I'm gonna need for pumpkins for sale. You could use any book paper, you could use a script stamp and stamp some paper and then do this over the top. You could use a stencil and draw around it with a black Sharpie. So there's a million different ways you could do this to get your letters. The stamp that I'm using is the retro stamp from IOD, but there are so many options out there. Okay, now I'm gonna cut them out. So now I'm just gonna cut all these out, and I'm cutting on the outside edge of this thick black line. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut the centers out, and I'm just using a piece of cardboard, but a rubber mat would probably work better. You could just use your scissors and cut it out. And same thing just along the outside edge of the black. Okay, let's see if our board is dry. So my envelope is dry. I'm just gonna do a quick sand really lightly. So you could use a crackle stamp. You could use any sort of a background stamp. I'm gonna be using my wood planks, and I'm just gonna use a light gray on this one. A little bit of a hit and miss just here and there. So you can see it's just subtle on here. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of line everything up so I know where I want it. I know my pumpkin is gonna be about here, and I got this on Etsy. I'm also gonna post a link at the bottom of the video where I got these from. Line up my letters. Okay. I think that's where I like it. So I'm going to go get my decoupage glue, and I'm going to glue these all down. So I am just using a slow gel medium, but you could use any type of adhesive you would like. So I'm going to use this cute stencil here. And I'm gonna do a dark brown first and then lightly go in with some black to give it just a little highlight. And this is a bigger one, so I wanted to use a little bigger stencil brush. And I had some of these brushes I had broke handles off of. They were still soft, but a little bit eaten away from doing so much furniture painting. And I found that if I taped them really tight together like this, they worked really, really well as a stencil brush. And then I just take the tape off and wash them, and if I'm gonna do it again, I just tape it up nice and tightly. I am just gonna put some of this brown paint in here. So all I'm gonna do is just dab it in here. And it's really more of a dry brush technique that you put paint on, but then you dab all the big amounts off. Otherwise it will want to bleed through. This really is a really, really gorgeous stencil, and it's so intricate. So you really want to do the up and down. You do not want to slide because you will move your pieces. So I'm just holding it with one hand nice and tightly and going straight up and down. And I'm not doing the pumpkin part. If you're worried about getting that, you could just put a piece of masking tape over that. The one thing with stenciling is you'll think, oh my gosh, that doesn't look dark enough. It doesn't have to be super dark. You really, really see the dimension of it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna lift and look. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna add just a little bit of black to this. After you've seen what I've done, and this will be folded right here, so that part won't matter. I'll lay this back down, line it up, and you'll really be able to tell if it's lined up. It will look completely solid. I'm gonna use a little bit of black paint. Just a little bit here and there. There you go. This is going to be folded here, and you can see how it just adds a little bit more to it. So since I have my black paint on the edge of this brush, I am just going to lightly go on the edges, just real lightly. And it is a dry brush, so it's not going to add a ton of paint. So now I'm going to wax this, and it's going to really bring the color out. I'm using a clear wax first. And of course, you want to make sure that your paint was already dry. And then I'm going to add some dark wax. Okay, let's seal it. So most people would never put a sealer over wax, but if you've watched any of my other projects, I just do. Just use a generic sealer. There's no special formula. And you probably don't really need to. I just think it brings it out just a little bit more. Okay. So I hope this looked easy. Took a little more time than some projects, but I think that it's really a fun look. When you put your sealer over the top, if your paper starts to bubble and reactivate again, you know, when it dries, it should go back down again. So I hope you guys try this, but have fun.